Hi guys, Miss Perkins here. Today we're talking about telling time again. This is part 2. So this is part 2 of our review on telling time. And we're going to be talking about being able to tell time to the hour and the half hour. Now this is the criteria, just like how we did in our last video. We know the first thing we do is we look at the short hour hand. We say the number that the short hour hand is pointing to. But if it's in between two numbers, you say the number that it is the number before it hits the wall. Now, that's if you use the hickory-dickory-dock. You might also ask yourself, well, what section is it in? Has it gotten to the other number yet? These are all things you can ask yourself as well. Once we know what the short hour hand shows, then we look at the long minute hand. So then we have to figure out, well, is the long minute hand pointing to the 12 or to the 6? We know if it's pointing to the 12, it says 0, 0. Or we say o'clock. If it is pointing to the 6, it says 30. Because why? Because the long minute hand is a secret agent. And so it has secret numbers that it uses. So let's get started. First, let's look at this one. First, we're going to look at the short hour hand. So this is the hour hand, which we know the hour hand is an H, which is why I put an H right there. And the short hour hand is pointing to the 8. So we know, without any doubt, that it is 8. We don't have to do anything else. This is where the hour hand goes. Now, we're going to look at the minute hand. The long minute hand. The minute hand, we know, uses secret numbers because it's a secret agent. So we know that it's not 812. It's going to be 8, and this 12 right here, we use the 0, 0, which we know that we would say o'clock. So it's 8, 0, 0, which means 8 o'clock. So this clock shows 8 o'clock. Alrighty, guys, looking at this one. This one right here, again, we know that we're going to first start with the short hour hand. I'm going to draw my line to where I can see where it's pointing to a little bit easier. Now it's in between the 7 and the 8. Has the hour hand gotten to the 8 yet? Nope. It's still in the 7 spot. But again, if you use the hickory-dickory-dock, you know that the mouse is going to go around the clock. It's going to hit that wall and bounce back to that 7. So we know that the hour hand is still 7. So in the digital clock, I wrote 7. So now let's look at the long minute hand. So the long minute hand is pointing to the 6. Now we know the minute hand is a secret agent. So we know that it's going to use secret numbers. So we know that whenever it's pointing to the 12, it uses 0, 0. And when it's pointing to the 6, it uses 30. Well, in this case, the minute hand is pointing to the 30, so we know that it is 30 we write right here. So this clock shows 7:30. Moving right along. Now this one right here. This one shows, first we look at the hour hand. We have to put the line so we can go across. If you like, you can always pause the video to where you can figure out what time this clock shows on your own, and you can start it back up to see if you got it correct. So you can do that now if you would like. Now looking at this, the hour hand. Again, has the hour hand gotten to that 10 yet? Nope. So it means it's still 9. Again, you could think of the mouse going around the clock. And we know that the mouse going around the clock is going to hit that wall and it's going to go back to that 9. So we know that it is 9 for our hour hand. Now, looking at this, we're going to look at the long minute hand. So the long minute hand, right here, we know that the minute hand is a secret agent. So that means it's going to use secret numbers. So we know that the minute hand, if it was pointing to the 12, it would use that 0, 0. If it was at the 6, it would use that 30 because it goes by 5s as it goes down the numbers. So we know that since this minute hand is pointing to the 6, it's going to use that secret number, 30. So we know that this clock shows 9:30. If you got that correct, give yourself a thumbs up. Alrighty, guys, we're going to move on. Now, this one right here is where we have to actually draw our own minute and hour hands on the clock. You will not have to do this on the classwork that you have today, but I just thought it was a good idea for you to know how to write the hour and the minute hand on the clock for you, or for yourself. So it's giving you the digital time, and we have to write it on the analog clock. So we know that this 3 is for the hour, and the 00 is for the minute. So looking at this, we know the hour hand is short, so we're going to draw it short. And we know that the minute hand is the long hand. Now looking at this, we can tell already that whenever the hour hand is in between two numbers, it's because that minute hand is on that 30. It's pointing to that 6. Or the minute hand is that 00. So we know that the hour hand is going to be pointing directly to the 3. So I'm going to put my hour hand just like this, because we know we want it to be a little short, because we do not want to get confused between our minute and hour hand. So now we know that the minute hand is still a secret agent. It's still going to be pointing to another number. We have to figure it out. Well, what number is the minute hand going to be pointing to whenever it's 00? Right, it's going to be pointing to the 12. One thing that's important is to tell the difference between the hour and the minute hand is to make sure the minute hand is actually touching the number. How I had it touch the 12, that helps you know which one's longer, which one's shorter. So this is how you would show 3 o'clock on the analog clock if it's given to you in the digital clock. Remember, this is just extra that we're doing. This is not something that you will have to do on the classwork or something like that, because it'd be too difficult for you to be able to actually have to do that for the formative. So that's why I'm just showing you here. We're going to do one more. So look at this. We have to show 2:30. So when we know that 2 is going to be our hour, and 30, that's going to be for our minute. So now, looking at this, we have to show 2:30. So we know the hour hand is going to be the short hand. Now, remember, it's showing 2:30, which means the minute hand is halfway done with 2 o'clock already. So that means that the hour hand is going to be in between 2 and 3. So that's why I put the hour hand kind of in between them. And remember, I kept my hour hand short. Now, the minute hand is going to be 30. Well, we know that it's going to use secret numbers because it's a secret agent. So we know that the 12 would be 00, and it goes down by 5s. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, up 30's right here. So we know the minute hand is going to be pointing to the 6, which we know it uses that secret number 30. So that is how you write 2:30 on your analog clock if it gives it to you in a digital time. Alrighty, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you on the next one.